Over the last few weeks, I've been making art dolls inspired by the elements: air, water, earth. And this week, I made the spirit of fire, also known as a salamander. Not that kind of salamander. I wanted to capture the spirit of the flame itself, so it shouldn't have come as a surprise that this one turned out to be a little bit feisty. I'm starting out with a neutral coloured cotton base fabric. I want some fiery colours for the dress. I've got some bits of tulle and lace that I could make a tutu with, but I'm not sure about the bodice. I thought I had some orangey shades in my fabric stash, but I can't find anything I'm completely happy with, so I'll have to give that one some thought and I'll come back to it later. This will be a hanging doll, so I'm going to string the arms and legs with glass beads. I've got a few different shades of red beads, so I might put a couple of different shades together for a bit more depth. I think the red will look really effective with the light shining through it. I wanted a copper jump ring to use as a hanger, but I didn't have anything the right size. I did have some copper wire though, so I decided to make some. I just wound some wire around a wooden spoon handle to make a coil, then snipped the rings with wire cutters and filed the ends a bit. Some of them came out a bit wonky, but I've managed to get a couple of good ones, so I think that one will work quite well. I'm using some polyester staple fibre to stuff the main part of the doll. This fibre is a bit denser and less smooth and bouncy than standard polyester fibre fill, so the pieces are coming out a little bit flatter with a firmer feel. Hopefully I should still be able to needle felt through it okay though. I wasn't happy with any of the choices I had for the bodice, so I thought, why not paint some flames on instead? I've been looking for a way to combine my love of painting with my love of doll making, so I figured this would be a fun little experiment. I'm using System 3 acrylic paints for this. As the surface is quite firm, it doesn't need to be too flexible, so I haven't bothered with a fabric medium. I'll just thin it with a little bit of water where needed. I'm starting with titanium white mixed with a little bit of yellow and making some flame shapes that curl up around the shoulders. Then I'll slowly build up the colour. I want it to be quite light around the top of the flames, deepening to a glowing red around the waist and hips. The button on the back of the doll is where the neck joint is anchored. That'll be tucked away under the band of the tutu, so it won't be visible on the finished doll. I'm glad I chose a slightly darker shade of base fabric now. The contrast of the flames against the skin is working quite nicely. If you're enjoying this video, by the way, don't forget to hit the like button and let me know. If you'd like to support me further, there are some links to my art below the video. There's also a thanks button there where you're welcome to leave me a tip. No pressure, but every donation is appreciated and it all helps the channel to grow. Those flames are looking pretty good. I'll dry them off with a hairdryer and then it's on to the face. I found these vintage red buttons in a local charity shop last year when I made an albino rat doll. I do want to make a white rabbit too at some point, so you'll probably see them again soon. As usual, the face detail is all done with a combination of high pigment coloured pencil and fine liner pens. I'm not a fan of animal pigments or gelatin, so I use the vegan-friendly ranges of pens and pencils from Derwent. I'll put a link to my favourites in the description. There's something very relaxing about stringing beads. The glass is very tactile. These beads have a good weight to them too, so they help the doll to hang nicely. I'm making a tutu using the no-sew method. I don't know who originally came up with the no-sew method, but whoever it was a genius. I'm just knotting strips of tulle and lace onto a length of ribbon, then I'll trim them into flame shapes. Okay, let's try this on. It looks about right. I can always trim a bit more off if I need to. That's looking good. I'll put a couple of stitches through the waistband to make sure it stays in place, then I'll start on the hair. I thought I had enough of this fiery orange boucle yarn, but this is all I have left, so I'm going to use some of the metallic red and add in some streaks of the orange, just as highlights. I think the contrasting colours and textures will actually work really well together. I'm going to needle felt it all in place with the Clover pen style tool. I'm hoping the 38 gauge needles will felt into this stuffing. I don't like going much lighter than a 38 gauge as the finer needles are so easy to snap. I'm starting with 3 needles. There's a bit of resistance with this stuffing. The needles are going through it, but not as easily as I'd like. I might need to switch to just 2 needles and go a bit slower. That's definitely easier with 2 needles. I'm getting into a rhythm now. Ouch! That hurts. The head shape is a little bit flatter than usual, and that went right through into my hand. No blood though, so I think I got away with it. I just need to be extra careful to hold my hand out of the way now. I managed to felt the rest of the head with no more incidents. I just need to unravel this yarn, brush it out and give it a bit of a trim. This little one definitely has a fiery nature. She's giving me Tori Amos vibes, so I've named her Spark. If you'd like to see how I made dolls for the air, water and earth elements, I'll put the playlist on screen here. Go watch those now and I'll see you next time. Bye!